What's happening, sports fans? Today we're talking about what current athlete would make the best tennis player. Now, this is some fantastic water cooler talk. Maybe you're out at the bar and you're talking with your buddy. I know it's something that's come up amongst me and my friends to the chagrin of my wife over and over again. Who is the greatest athlete of all time? Who would, this is just fun rhetoric for us sports fans, and it's all opinion based. But what spurred kind of this thought pattern was, I don't know if you watched the ESPYs not too long ago, but the ESPYs named this gentleman back behind me, Mr. Tom Brady of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as the best athlete of the year. I don't know about that, right? Like, I wasn't a Tom Brady fan, or let me rephrase that, I was never a New England Patriots fan. No offense, Boston. I'm a huge Celtics fan, forgive me. But never a New England fan, and never a really big Brady fan. But now the dude's 40, right? He's turning back father time. I can relate. No, I can't, because I don't make his paycheck. But I can relate to being older and still trying to play a sport at a higher level. But the idea of him being the best athlete, I don't know about, right? There's so many other people I would choose, and yes, maybe his mind and where he's at, it's very, very admirable, but that is not where I would go. So let's talk about some of the selections. Let's jump into who maybe we would consider. So as soon as we talk about the NBA, we have to talk about 6'9", 250-pound superstar LeBron James. 4 rings currently. I mean, he has been the face of basketball for well over a decade. And before jumping into LeBron and why he may be the best, would maybe make the best tennis player ever, I'll tell you a quick story, a little anecdote from Patrick McEnroe. We went to the USPTA World Training Convention, and Patrick McEnroe a few years ago was the keynote speaker. And he was talking about the success of tennis in the United States. And he said, look, he started out, he's like, everyone wants to know, and this is kind of before we see all Tiafoe and some of the, Pelka, some of these guys emerge. It was still while Jack Sock was the top guy. And he was like, I'll be honest with you, tennis in America is really struggling. It sucks. His words, not mine. And he's like, but this is why. And he's like, the problem is that when we look at Europe, although you have a wide array of sports, the 2 most popular sports tend to be soccer by far, and then tennis. So you're getting your best athletes split. You're getting some of your best athletes over into tennis, right? But he was saying in the United States, we have, between basketball and football and soccer and lacrosse and tennis, and I could go on and on, right? So we don't necessarily always get the best athletes. So he was saying for all the coaches, he was like, for all you coaches out there, if you're looking to make a superstar tennis player, if you want to see the reemergence of the United States on the world tour, you've got to find the best athlete. That is what it's about. And that's not to say, who we currently have now are some pretty darn good athletes. But then he said this, right? He said, close your eyes for a moment and imagine if LeBron James picked up a tennis racket when he was 3 years old. I mean, come on. When it's currently in the ATP, when you have Medvedev and these big tall guys, 6'6", moving like wings in the NBA, could you imagine 6'9", 250 pounds LeBron on the court? I mean, what kind of serve would that guy have? Man, it'd be unbelievable. And his ability to read plays and set up the offense, on the basketball court, how would that translate to the tennis court? He'd definitely be up there, right? Like, you would definitely have to give him some serious consideration. So up next, let's go to the Major League Baseball. The best player in Major League Baseball right now, Mike Trout, 6'2". I mean, the dude is a full-on specimen, and just hits dingers all day, right? I mean, defensively, offensively, the guy does it all. What about a guy like this with his eye-hand coordination? Would he be the best returner in the world? Would we get to see a matchup to where he would surpass like a Djokovic, Agassi, just his ability to read the ball? We don't know, but I'm pretty sure with his skill set, his ability to play the game of baseball, the way it translates into tennis would be pretty amazing to watch. But I don't think he surpasses LeBron James. It's about height, baby. It's about reach, right? I think maybe the quickness, I think LeBron surpasses him on this one. So going to the NFL, if we were going to pick one guy in 2021, we got to talk about Devonta Adams. 6'1", 235 pounds. This man right here had an open field run where he ran 18.9 miles per hour. He ran 19 miles per hour. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? So obviously his skill set, his athleticism, his strength, his speed, that would obviously translate into tennis and make him a superstar where we start thinking about the Demonars and these guys that move well. How would Devonta Adams, how would he translate into the game of tennis? I'd say pretty damn well. Now, would I put him above LeBron? Probably not, but maybe a little notch above Mike Trout. All my opinion, right? You can agree, you can disagree, it doesn't matter. It's just all my opinion. That's the thing that's fun about the water cooler talk. And I expect you guys in the comments telling me what you think. So when we talk soccer, there's obviously just one name that we've got to talk about, and it's Lionel Messi. The unbelievable career he's had in Barcelona. I said it right, Barcelona. Kenny, did you like that? Not Barcelona, Barcelona. And now in Argentina. The footwork of this guy, the playmaking, his foresight, how would that translate into tennis? I mean, you can only imagine, right? And we know that Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, a lot of players on the ATP, WTA have this soccer background. Their ability, their movement, you can see it, the fluidity of their movement. And then you get a guy like this that also knows, really how to set up a play on and off the ball. I mean, you have to imagine he would be pretty special on the tennis court. All right, so in my opinion, what current athlete would make the best tennis player? Man, if you got a racket in Giannis Antetokounmpo's hand, I'm not saying that last name again, Kenny, so don't let me mess this up. But Giannis, 6'11", I've got to look back here. What is his weight? 242 pounds, and this guy moves like a gazelle. I mean, it's as far as basketball goes, there's no doubt he's the most athletic player in basketball, but he may very well be the best athlete in the world. And in fact, Sports Illustrated thinks so. So I'll share this with you real quick. But what I liked here was tennis was not omitted. Maybe some of the best athletes in the world are already in tennis. So let's talk about that. Number 14 on SI, this was the most fit athletes in sports. Most fit, most athletic. I think that, there's a parallel there, but we have Patrick Mahomes at 14. Dude's pretty good. Conor McGregor, love him or hate him, dude's fit, right? We know that. The guy, I think he's going up in a weight class. Dude's put on all kinds of weight. But at number 12, Rafael Nadal, there's no doubt. I mean, and I think we know what other tennis players are going to be in here, but there's no denying. Could Rafa transcend tennis and be a superstar in say soccer, or I don't know, even football, if he had went that route and put him away? Sure, why not? Maybe the height would get him a little bit, but there's no doubt Rafa's, his ability and his fitness on the court. So I'll go through these kind of quick. Derrick Henry, number 10, Caleb Dressel. Number 9 is LeBron. I might have had him a little bit higher, but this is 2021. Maybe back in like 2017, he would have made it up a little bit higher. Number 8, Jordan Burroughs, wrestling. Number 7, John Jones. So this is something to take into consideration. If we look outside of traditional sports, not traditional, but the less popular, the big 4, big 3, and we take a look at UFC, we get John Jones or perhaps track and field, the Usain Bolts. I mean, you've got to put them in a conversation of just being transcending to tennis and just being absolute studs. But then we have Christian Coleman at 6, and then our top 5, Cristiano Ronaldo. I know when we got through Messi, there's some people that are like, well, hold on, what about Ronaldo? I think that just depends, like, who you're a fan of in the soccer world. Number 4, Canelo Alvarez. Boxing, I will say this. So about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, Sports Illustrated did a piece on the most difficult sports to be at the top of your game, like the most difficult sports, right? And boxing was, it was kind of the exception. It was number 1 with an asterisk with wrestling, where it was just saying because you don't necessarily compete every day or even once a day. You're typically in about, maybe once a year, twice a year, 3 the absolute max. So it had an asterisk. Finishing number 1 was soccer. Tennis was 3, I believe, below basketball. But that was a while ago. And again, that's somebody's opinion. I'm sure they had some data to support it. But so I get it. Canelo Alvarez. CrossFit, Matt Frazier, guy's been a stud for a long, long time. But here we go. Number 2, Novak Djokovic. So according to this, one of the world's top athletes is already in tennis, and it'd be hard to disagree with what he's done in his career. But the number 1 athlete, Giannis, right? So that's where I would go. And I promise you, I swear to you, I saw this after kind of picking who I thought from each sport. Fittest guy in basketball, Giannis. That's who I would say would be the most impressive. Now, all time, leave your comments. Who do you think currently and who do you think all time? You know, all time, forget maybe even just who would transcend in tennis. Who's the greatest athlete of all time? We'll save that for a podcast with Martin and Scott. I've always said Bo Jackson, but you know, it depends what sport you play. My golfer friends would say Tiger Woods. My surfing buddies would say Kelly Slater, yada, yada, yada. But guys, this is a fun one. Like I said, it's always a fun debate. But as a coach, that's our job, right? Is to embrace who's on our court, but always looking for that kid that's trying to make a decision as to what sport to choose. And if he happens to be the premier athlete of your group, get him to fall in love with the game of tennis. And maybe we will see someone of Giannis's stature in the game of tennis at some point. And if not, hey, some pretty good athletes already playing. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like, sub, share button. In the comment section, we've left a link to check out the Play Your Court platform where you can meet players for practice or match play. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.